It is Friday, November 20th, 2020, and you are tuned into Dirt Tracker Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. Today we've got news from NASCAR and Knoxville Raceway, and we've got some details on some driver midget announcements, a preview of this weekend's USAC racing, and some modified and late model events to keep an eye on. But first, this episode is brought to you by Blood Lubricants. If you're a regular listener to the Dirt Tracker podcast, you've been hearing me talk about Blood for a few weeks now. While Blood might be a newer brand name, the guys and technology behind it certainly are not. The folks behind Blood have decades of experience making high-quality lubricants, and their technology and products have a proven track record across many industries and applications. You can take advantage of their knowledge and experience to keep your race car performing at its best with their line of high-quality synthetic racing oils. And as I'm reading all of this, don't just take my word for it. I'm a podcast host. I don't know anything about racing oils, but who you should listen to are guys like Corey Eliason, Danny Dietrich, and Craig Kinzer. These are serious professional racers, guys with a ton of experience, a ton of wins on some of the biggest stages in dirt racing, and they all trust Blood products in their race cars. To see the full line of Blood lubricants and accessories, visit bloodlubricants.com. That's BLUD lubricants.com. If you'd like to receive 25% off most products, use code DIRT at checkout. That's DIRT, all caps, at checkout. There have been rumblings in recent days about the NASCAR Truck Series not returning to Eldora Speedway for 2021, and we found out yesterday that those rumblings are correct. Due to COVID restrictions in Ohio, the Truck Series event at Eldora for this season was sacked, so it felt like a bit of a bummer that we wouldn't get a race at Eldora in 2021. But as much as it sucks to lose Eldora, we will still get to see the trucks on a traditional dirt track in 2021 with the addition of Knoxville Raceway to the truck calendar. The Truck Series will take on Knoxville for the first time on Friday, July 9th. As part of the Corn Belt weekend. Joining the Truck Series for the weekend is the Corn Belt Clash on Saturday, featuring the USAC and WAR non-wing sprint cars. This was formerly the Corn Belt Nationals race. That race will still pay $20,000 to the winner. Tickets are available now for the NASCAR event from Knoxville Raceway. To see more information about the announcement, visit knoxvilleraceway.com. There was a bunch of midget driver news yesterday in advance of this weekend's USAC events at Merced and for the upcoming Chili Bowl. Matt Wood Racing announced that Zeb Wise will pilot a midget for the team this weekend at Merced, at the Chili Bowl in January, and then for a partial USAC national midget schedule in 2021. Matt Wood Racing will utilize Wise's Indiana shop as the team's home base during Midwest and East Coast races for 2021. Wise still plans to have a full-time sprint car as his main focus next season. We still don't know who that will be for yet, but I would expect at some point, either with the All-Stars, World of Outlaws, something like that, that we will see Zeb full-time in a sprint car. Matt Wood also announced they are also bringing a 7-car lineup to the Chili Bowl in January. That driver lineup will include Wise, Shane Golobic, Ryan Bernal, Colby Copeland, Mitchell Moles, Kevin Thomas Jr., and Kasey Kahne. Kahne last ran the Chili Bowl in 2019 for his cousin Willie Kahne. NOS Energy Drink will be the main sponsor for the team that packs several Chili Bowl feature starters, including Golobic, Copeland, and Bernal last season. I was kind of looking around at some of the reaction to stuff yesterday. Brian Walker, with his Walkopedia Twitter account yesterday, mentioned the new norm at Chili Bowl being super teams. He says between Clausen Marshall, Keith Kunz, Matt Wood, and Tucker Boat Motorsports, those 4 teams are expected to bring more than 25 cars to the Chili Bowl in January. And with the caliber of drivers between the organizations, it's hard to bet against the idea that the winner would come from outside those 4 teams. I actually tweeted about this here just shortly ago from the Dirt Tracker Twitter account, and some people mentioned that maybe Kyle Larson. I don't know who Larson is going to race for. He ran his own car last year, but I'm not sure if that will continue this season. He just ran this last weekend with Keith Kunz, and I think he's running at Merced with Keith Kunz again, so he might be back in a Keith Kunz's car this year. We're not sure about that. Also not sure yet who Bell will race for. Bell has been driving for his buddy Chad Boat a lot here lately, but it's still tough to imagine the winner coming from outside of those teams. There's so many good drivers that are going to be running for those organizations this year, but it'll be fun to watch either way. Speaking of midgets, the USAC National Midgets close out their 2020 schedule this weekend at Merced. Tonight and tomorrow, I think there's something like 50 cars on the expected entry list. Those cars will be in attendance there at the California track. Besides the series regulars, some heavy hitters in that field, guys like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carson Macedo, Ryan Bernal, and the previously mentioned Zeb Wise. This will be the series' first ever trip to Merced. We won't see any movement in the point standings as the event is paying 50 show-up points to all competitors. Chris Windom enters the weekend with a 1-point lead over Tyler Courtney in the standings. We obviously talked about that earlier in the week. He will be crowned the 2020 USAC National Midget Champion after the 2 nights. The grandstands are closed to spectators both nights, but you can watch live on Flow Racing with your subscription. And speaking of Merced, if you'd like to know more about Merced, check out my Dirt Tracker Conversations episode with track GM Doug Lockwood from a few weeks ago. You can find that in this podcast feed or on our YouTube channel. There are a few late model shows around the Southeast this weekend if you're in need of a late model fix. Crate Racing USA closes out their 2020 season with 2 nights at Deep South Speedway. Also, the Fall Nationals are at Sonoya Raceway on Saturday for the Billy Clanton Classic. That's a 10,000 win show that will definitely attract some big names. Guys like Chris Madden, Billy Moyer Jr., Shane Clanton, and more are expected to be in attendance. The Extreme Dirt Car Series also kicks off their 2020 winter schedule on Sunday at Cherokee Speedway for the Blue Gray 100. That event also pays $10,000 to the winner. I'd expect a lot of the guys that run Sonoya on Saturday will probably then head to Cherokee on Sunday. I know I saw Chris Madden will be there and probably a number of other guys as well. Madden is the defending Extreme Dirt Car Series champion. Several of those shows are available on the streaming platforms if you cannot be at the racetracks. If you're a modified fan, check out the Ruderman Memorial at Volusia Speedway Park tonight and tomorrow in Florida. Very strong field of UMP modifieds are in action along with 602 late models and Thunder stocks. Names like Justin Allgaier, Kenny Wallace, David Stremme, Nick Hoffman, and many, many more will battle it out for $5,000. This feels a little bit like a preview of the modified racing we'll see at Volusia coming up here at Dirt Car Nationals in just a couple of months. Fans are allowed at Volusia, but if you can't attend, Dirt Vision has you covered both nights. Last night was a practice night for all of the modified teams at Volusia, so there's a lot of social media pics and things like that coming out of the racetrack of all the different guys in attendance, but should be a fun couple of nights there at Volusia if you are into some modified racing. And speaking of the streaming platforms, there are 5 items on the streaming schedule today. Dirt Vision has that opening night of the Ruderman Memorial that I just mentioned from Volusia. Like I said, UMP Modifieds, Crate Late Models, Thunder stocks on the card there. Flow Racing has a few shows, USAC 24/7. They've also got the USAC Midget shows from Merced tonight and tomorrow, and then they've got the Desert Thunder Nationals from Central Arizona Speedway, a bunch of IMCA categories there at Central Arizona. And then Speed Sport has the SCDRA, 602 late models, and more from Scriven Motor Speedway for the next couple of nights. If you'd like to see the full daily schedule with links to watch, visit DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. My plans over the weekend for DIRTRACKR.com, like I've talked about before, adding some Chili Bowl stuff in. I've got all of the 2020 Chili Bowl races in. I started adding the 2019. I have the 2019 championship night, but there'll be a bunch more added over the weekend. So stay tuned for those results, plus all of the associated stats to be available on the site soon. And then from there, USAC is my next project for the analytics section. So a lot of stuff to come, a lot of updates and changes and improvements still to come. So a lot of that will happen this weekend. That's it for the show today. Hope everybody has a good Friday and a good weekend. You can find Dirt Tracker Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com, and you can follow along at facebook.com/dirttracker, twitter.com/dirttracker, and the website itself, dirttracker.com. Follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday for more Dirt Tracker Daily.